Hello, I'm Suzanne McAllister and welcome to Full Circle. On today's program, we are going to talk about Parkinson's disease. It's a disease that afflicts over 1.5 million Americans. In fact, it is second only to Alzheimer's when you talk about neurodegenerative diseases. We are going to focus in on the disease and also on a very special program called Rock Steady Boxing. And coming up in this half hour, we will talk to a two-time championship boxer. But first, it's my pleasure to welcome Tom Timberlake to the program. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's 15 years ago. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'd also like to welcome Joyce Johnson. She is the executive director of Rock Steady Boxing. Well, before we find out about Rock Steady, Tom, let's talk a little bit about your diagnosis. You've known for 15 years that you've had Parkinson's. You're a young guy. What was happening in your life 15 years ago?
Well, I was just living life like everybody else, and I started having little things going on with me, and didn't know what was going on. So I started going to the doctor. I went to an orthopedic doctor, and he told me I had arthritis or whatever in my shoulder, and come to find out that couldn't do anything about it. And so finally a physical therapist told me I should go see a neurologist because she saw signs of neurological stuff. And then I finally got diagnosed probably two years after I started having symptoms.
So it took 2 years for your diagnosis. When you talk about little things going on and you started noticing things, what are some of those things that you noticed? You said your shoulders.
Yeah, I had stiffness in my left shoulder, and that was one of the first things. And then I went to go get my daughter up one day, and I knocked on her door, and my hand stopped. I couldn't do it like I usually do it, and that's weird. And then I was at work, and I worked at a General Motors plant, and it's a pretty big plant. And I went to talk to my foreman. He said, "Yeah," I said, "I saw you coming all the way down there. I can tell it was you because you don't swing your left arm." I said, "Really?" I said, "That's weird." And so stuff like that you don't really notice. And the symptoms are very vague. And then another instance, I'd go on a run, and my toes on my left foot would start curling up after I'd run about a mile.
So slowly your body was just degenerating, as we talk about this as a neurodegenerative disease. Joyce, let's bring you into the conversation. Give us a little bit of background in terms of some statistics. This diagnosis of Parkinson's happens quite often.
Well, it does. They say that there are 1.5 million people in the United States who've been diagnosed with Parkinson's. They say 1 in 10 adults over the age of 55 possibly will be diagnosed with Parkinson's. Parkinson's may double by 2020. So it's a growing disease. It's a disease that it's being diagnosed more frequently, and I don't know of anybody that doesn't know somebody that had Parkinson's. My mom had Parkinson's, and so, this is a disease that I'm really acquainted with.
Well, I am too. I know I shared with both of you that my father has been diagnosed with Parkinson's, and certainly when it happens in your family, you become more aware of the disease itself. So, Tom, what would you say to someone that perhaps is feeling a little different? They don't have the balance, perhaps. They have the tremors, they have the shaking, the stiffness, the rigidity. What would you say, given that it took you 2 years to get that process?
Well, just go to your doctor and start getting tests done and find out what's going on.
So how have you been able to keep the disease at bay?
Well, I didn't do anything for 6 years, and then Scott Newman started boxing, and he found out that it was making his symptoms better, and he had started an organization, Young Parkinsons of Indiana. So that's how I knew Scott. And so he was sitting, talked about, starting a boxing program for people with Parkinson's. And I was fortunate enough to be on the, one of the first people to start that, and it was like 6 of us at the start. And but that didn't start till 6 years after I was diagnosed. So it was really a godsend that came up.
So Scott Newman, a former prosecutor in the city of Indianapolis, started Rock Steady Boxing. You're the executive director. Tell me more about the program, Joyce.
Well, Rock Steady started, as Tom said, in 2006, and it grew by word of mouth primarily. You're going to meet Christy later, but they brought in an actual boxer to teach the program, and it began to grow as word of mouth people heard about it. I came on the scene just 3 years ago. It had been going for 5 years before I got there, and they had gotten a grant to build a gym and hire an executive director, and so that was basically how I got started. And then they had almost 100 people boxing, and so we've just continued to grow, and today we have about 180 people boxing in our gym every month.
So very briefly, tell me the mission and the fact that now you are expanding into various states. You're also in Italy, Australia, and Canada.
Absolutely. Well, when I came on the scene, the trainers had a real burden for the fact that people were calling from all over the country wanting to do Rock Steady Boxing, and we had to say, I'm sorry, there's no Rock Steady Boxing in Boston. And so 2 years ago, we put together a training program to bring people in who are interested in the program. And you're exactly right. We are growing. Now we have over 30 affiliates in 10 states in the United States and the three in foreign countries. And we are offering the training camp 8 times next year. So that number may double by this time next year. So we're very excited about the growth.
Congratulations on that growth. We're going to put the links to the Rock Steady boxing program on our website. Be sure and go there. We'll take a short break though, and we'll be back with Tom, and we'll bring out our world championship boxer after this. Welcome back to Full Circle. We're continuing our conversation about Parkinson's disease. In fact, every 9 seconds in the United States, somebody is diagnosed with Parkinson's. We are continuing our conversation with Tom Timberlake. He was diagnosed 15 years ago. And joining us now, we have Christy Fulmar. She is the program director and coach of Rock Steady Boxing. And Christy, welcome to the program. I said you were a 2-time world champion. You are actually a 3-time world champion boxer. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
So I'm curious, I don't meet many girl boxers, so how did you get started in boxing?
Well, women's boxing is actually really growing, so you're going to probably notice a lot more now that we've met. My initial experience with boxing was as a young girl. My father and I were very, very close, and he loved boxing and taught me how to box, throw punches, and it was just something that was always unique to our relationship. And I lost my father at the age of 13 to suicide. And it was something that was very hard for me to deal with. And one of the ways that I combated the depression of that incident was I would go out and I would hit a heavy bag in the garage, and just sort of became a passion of mine that carried into my college years. And I actually started to compete as an amateur and then professionally in college. And that was right around the time that I met Scott Newman.
Well, I'm sorry for your loss. And now I can see that passion and that connection really does have that connection to your dad.
Absolutely. One of the things that's not talked about in terms of symptoms of Parkinson's as much as it should is depression is a huge issue for people that have Parkinson's disease. And so I can really connect with people on that level. I know how good it feels to do these types of exercises and what it's done for me. I see that happening with them.
Sure, keep yourself active.
Absolutely.
Tom, have you suffered depression through this?
Well, I would say no, but my wife might say something different. I never thought I was depressed, but I probably have been depressed. Probably, especially the first 6 years before Rock Steady. I was not doing anything, you know, and I was kind of in denial. And my wife was trying to get me to exercise, and I'd run a couple weeks, and then I'd quit, and I was going downhill, and I thought I was going to work 30 years at GM, and I told my wife, I said, I can make 30 years.
But
I
now
retired after 17 years on disability.
It was 17 years. Well, now you're fighting back against Parkinson's, and that's
Right.
what this is all about. So, Christy, tell me about the benefits, because we're not only talking about physical benefits, but the psychological benefits as well.
Absolutely. Well, if you look at a fighter, I mean, they are really one of the most well-conditioned athletes because of the diversity of exercises that a fighter has to do in order to become a good fighter. If you can look past the violence of fighting, realize that they have to have optimal balance. There has to be good agility. There's strength and endurance. There's hand-eye coordination. There's speed of movement. There's great balance. And all of these things are issues for people that have Parkinson's disease. So while we're using the boxing as the foundation of our program, and we're still focusing on the disease, we're actually teaching these people skills that are fun and empowering. And there's a lot of benefits that happen that are kind of hidden within the exercises. But one of the things that I think is really different about our boxing program is that Rocksteady has really become a hybrid of a lot of things that we know work for Parkinson's disease. We've got 4 different levels of classes. So what you're going to see Tom doing today, Tom is a level 1, level 2 Rocksteady boxer. We have people that are level 3, level 4 that are in later stage Parkinson's disease that are using walking devices. Sometimes they're in wheelchairs. Sometimes they're in their upper 80s, mid 90s. So we've really had to develop this curriculum to address all different levels of fitness, all different ages, all different levels of Parkinson's disease. So it's a very well-rounded program that we think really hits most of the major symptoms of Parkinson's disease and helps them get a lot better.
Well, we are going to demonstrate. We're going to take a break. We're going to head over to our demonstration area. So don't go away. We're going to show you some moves that can not only help those with Parkinson's disease, but get us all up and going and active. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're talking about Parkinson's disease today and how the Rocksteady boxing program helps the quality of life with those diagnosed with Parkinson's. All right, Christy, you're the boxing championship person here. Tell me what we need to do.
In all of our 4 level of classes, we have 4 different pieces to our curriculum. We do the stretching, we do a warm-up, we do the workout, and we do core exercises and a cool down. So today we're going to skip the warm-up and the stretching. We're going to get right into some boxing-specific exercises. So first thing Tom's going to do, and again, Tom's a level 1, level 2 boxer. He's going to start to jump rope, and what this is going to do is it's going to help to create some rotation in the shoulders. It's going to help to build bone density in the lower body. It's going to help to give him muscle fire in his lower body so that he's able to get up and down on stairs, step over things. And it's a wonderful, wonderful cardio activity. And it takes full body coordination to do this, but not everybody can jump. So we have modifications for, thank you, T-Bone.
I'm impressed.
Isn't that awesome?
Good. That was very good.
You go ahead and get your gloves on. So we have modifications for these exercises for people who are a little bit timid of jumping and can't quite get it all the way down. So we're gonna, for your exercise, we wanna still include you in the same group. So what we're gonna do is gonna give you some support here, and all I want you to do is step over the jump rope.
Okay.
Okay, now step backwards.
Okay.
Now step forwards. And now we're going to go to the side, and we're going to step over. We're going to step over. Now maybe what we can do is see if we can put a little hop in there. So let's see if you're able to jump over that rope. Very good. Step back and give me one more.
I haven't jumped like this for a long time.
Come on, those volleyball skills are going to come back.
Yes, exactly.
So we have lots of different what we call modifications and progressions for all of these exercises so that people can do them no matter what level of Parkinson's they're at.
Sure.
The next exercise we're going to do is we're going to learn a little bit about how to throw a punch. So the first thing we want to do, and we want to establish if you're right-handed or left-handed. And Tom, come on up here. You're a right-handed fighter, so what we're going to do is we're going to put you in a boxing stance. So I want you to step back with your right foot and keep your left leg forward. There you go. So we've created an optimal balance position right here. So we know you can move all 4 directions.
Okay.
Hands are going to be up here. All right, when I call out left, I want you to throw the left hand all the way out and touch my glove. You ready? Left, left, or we call it a jab. Jab, all the way out. So for somebody with Parkinson's, extension becomes very difficult. Rotation becomes very difficult. So what we're doing is we're forcing them to stick those arms all the way out with power.
Whoa.
All right, let me see the right hand. Get your left hand back up.
Oops.
And now we want to coordinate breathing. Every time you throw a punch, breathe out. Breathe out. Very good. All right, so hands up. We're going to do just a few combos.
Wow, I'm breaking up a sweat already, Tom. This is not easy.
Here we go. All right, hands are up. Jab. Breathe out. Jab. All right, 1, 2. That's left, right. 1, 2. Now move your feet, but keep your feet in that position. Just small steps, move backwards. We're going to move backwards. Good. Now you're going to come at me. Throw your right hand. Throw your right hand. Come on, hit somebody with it. Come on, hit somebody with it. Good job.
That's
All
as hard as I can go.
Some basic punches, very good. Those are, we call that focus mitts. And it's a way for me to really engage this. I can make sure you have good technique, make sure you're breathing, your balance is good. Now I'm going to show you what somebody who's had Parkinson's disease for 15 years looks like on the focus mitts.
All right.
So Tom right now is doing what's called a festination. So it's one of the symptoms that Tom suffers with. Sometimes it's hard for him to get those feet moving. So when I get in front of him and I force him to make movements, watch what happens. Jab, jab, move your feet. Right hand, good. All right, stay relaxed, stay relaxed. Jab, jab, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Give me a big uppercut, 2 of them. Good, 2 on the left, 2 on the right. Up, hook right. All right, I want up, hook right, roll, right hook right. Up. Very good, and jab. And then we're gonna move our feet. Come on, Tom, break out of that. Break out of it, breathe. Big right hand, give me 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Nice job.
Wow. Woo! Now, we want to emphasize that even though you are hitting her hands, the pads, as hard as possible, it's called a non-contact sport.
So it's a non-contact program, so nobody's ever taking a punch. They're going to be working with professional boxing trainers who know how to do this, but we also have the heavy bags, the speed bags, and again, there's lots of things that we do. All of these exercises can be duplicated for somebody that is in a wheelchair. So I don't want anybody to be intimidated by this program. It is absolutely 100% developed for people at all levels of Parkinson's, and we're really proud of what we do, and we're trying to spread the message.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're doing today. If you've been diagnosed with Parkinson's, you can get up out of that couch and start to get involved. Tom, I want to ask you to tell me why this program has been so important to you before we run out of time.
Well,
Take a deep breath.
it's
No warm up. That's what happens when you don't warm up.
it's not just working out. It's the people you meet that are dealing with the same disease, and we just all come together and fight it.
Absolutely. We are fighting back at Parkinson's. Please go to our website. You can get more information about Rocksteady Boxing and also information about the Parkinson's Foundation, which is a national foundation. I want to thank Christy Folmar. She is a 3-time boxing champion and a world champion at that. And also Tom Timberlake, who was diagnosed with Parkinson's 15 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here. Thank you. We are back after this.
Stay tuned. Musical Showcase is coming up next. And now, here's our Musical Showcase.
Well, now that I've caught my breath from doing that boxing, I want to be sure and put our website up on the screen so you can find out more information about Rocksteady Boxing and also the Parkinson's Foundation. Well, coming up in our music segment, we have Dane Clark and his band. I'm Suzanne McAllister, and I'll see you next time, Full Circle.
Been a hillbilly rebel since before the great flood. Old country music's my breath and my blood. I'll be singing my story, banjo here on my knee, until Waylon and Johnny come looking for me. traveled this country by thumb and by rail. Made friends and met lovers as I cut my own trail. Could be in East Texas or West Tennessee, when Waylon and Johnny come looking for me. When it's my last call, I'll buy around for the bar, as the angels sing softly with God's steel guitar. To the bluegrass of heaven, I'll be lifted away, when Waylon and Johnny come take me that day. Yeah, I'm a death wish cowboy with a lifeline that's long. Lived hard, I've lived through every Hank Williams song. With my honky-tonk angel making love I will be, until Waylon and Johnny come looking for me. When it's my last call, I'll buy a round for the bar, as the angels sing softly with God's steel guitar. To the bluegrass of heaven, I'll be lifted away, when Waylon and Johnny come take me that day. All right. When I walk through those pearly gates, old St. Peter's trumpet will sound, with a hell of a choir singing Ring of Fire. I'll know I'm on sacred ground. When it's my last call, I'll buy round